What is going on, Washington fans? Welcome back to We Hail. We are talking about Dan Quinn. We finally got a head coach hired at Washington. It's not the guy we all wanted. It's not the guy we wanted. Maybe it's the coach we needed. Maybe it wasn't the big splashy coach. Those have never worked out for Washington, really. Neither have the safe ones either, let's be honest. But regardless of that, we did hire Dan Quinn. Before I dive too much into this, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Comment down below. I love comments. I'm probably going to have a Q&A, so if you have any questions you want me to answer in a future video, just post them, and I'll answer them when I get an opportunity to. So, Dan Quinn has been hired as the Washington head coach. He's the defensive coordinator for Dallas. So, first reaction, well, it's not the worst hire we could have. It's not a Jim Zorn hire or something like that, where it's completely garbage, an unknown guy with no track record for anything in the NFL. This guy's been a head coach. He's gotten a Super Bowl. He's been a leader of men. And, I mean, he's had some bad seasons. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it happens. But he has had success in the NFL. And he's been around the NFL. And when he lost his job as a head coach, he became a defensive coordinator and kind of reinvigorated himself as a coach. Okay, so let's look at him as a defensive coordinator first. So head coach wise, he is responsible. The coach that the 28-3 meltdown from the Atlanta Falcons, where they had a Super Bowl pretty much wrapped up and blew a 28-3 lead. He was the head coach, but I blame more Kyle Shanahan. While you're passing the ball and things like that at certain times in the game, you should be running the ball, killing clock, converting first downs, or at least not taking yourself out of field goal range. So I mean, he is the head coach. It ultimately falls on him, but I think it's more Kyle Shanahan being arrogant and calling passes and stuff and thinking, oh, I'm going to run up the score on the Super Bowl. No, just run the ball, run out the clock, take your time, get a field goal when you got an opportunity to get a field goal. It's more points. It's just more of a deficit you're adding to the opposition. So, I mean, I'm not absolving him of that. He definitely should have played better. He definitely should have been better. So, I'm not absolving of that. However, what he has done since he's been in Dallas. So, he's been Dallas defensive coordinator since in 2021, 2022, and 2023. Now, in 2020, the defensive coordinator for Dallas was Mike Nolan, I believe is what it was. And that defense was, ranking-wise, was 28th in points, 23rd in yards allowed. The turnover differential was 21st in turnover differential. Not very good at all. And Dan Quinn walks in, and all of a sudden that team is number 7 in points, number 19 in yards. That's his first year. Okay, his next year he's 5 in points, 12th in yards. And then last year he was 5th in points, 5 in yards. Okay? Also, you got to add on top of that what his specialty is. His specialty is his turnovers. So, his turnover differential, when he started in Dallas, it was a 1.9, which led the league. Him and tied with Indianapolis and Tampa, they had the highest turnover differential in the league. Okay, almost two turnovers per game. Okay, 2022, 1.8. So still number 1 in the league, number 1 tied only with New England. Okay, so the best turnover differential in the league. And last year, 2023, they were 14th at 1.4. But even at 14th, 1.4. That is better than what it's been for Washington the last 3 years. Washington's been stagnant at 1.1. So barely 1 turnover a game. Okay? And the last time Washington made the playoffs was in 2020, where our turnover differential was 1.4. We were 9th in the league. Okay? So we're going to get back to a point where we can actually get some turnovers and help our offense out a little bit. So that's one huge benefit. Not to mention we're not going to give up a lot of yards, not going to give up a lot of points. We're going to give our offense a chance to grow and get better. Now, I've already mentioned my opinion about Sam Howell. That's a different discussion. It just depends. We might go quarterback. If we do, then we're going to give our young quarterback a chance to get the ball more, chance to score more, and to keep the opposition points down while the offense figures itself out. Okay, and we don't have an offensive coordinator yet, so there's some ideas that could be Eric Bieniemy. I personally don't like that. I think Eric Bieniemy has shown that he's not the guy. There's a lot of talk a couple years ago that he's the next big head coach hire that someone's going to get, and I think he's proven not to do that. He's had a very bad effect on those around him here. If you've listened to any of the reports, there's a lot of bad, like he just rubs people the wrong way. It's one thing to scream and shout and get results. He screamed and shout and he didn't get results, in my opinion. He didn't do any better than Scott Turner, in my opinion. So I'm not really the biggest fan of Eric Bieniemy. I hope we just find a better offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy does not run the ball enough for my liking. Okay, I play Madden a lot, and in Madden I throw the ball a lot, but it's a good, healthy run balance does wear down the defense. Okay, and I get it. He came from a place where he threw all the time, but you had the best quarterback in the league. Okay, and your job was to develop a quarterback. Okay, if anything, what you did was you made him throw the ball 60 times a game, and it gives us a larger sample size to check him out, but you also made the things around him not great. Okay, so I'm not going to get too much into Eric Bieniemy on this video. This is about Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn, one good benefit as well with Dan Quinn, like I said, defense is going to get better. It's not going to be bad under Dan Quinn's watch. Okay, what'll get better also is he has connections. If I sound nasally, I'm sick. I got a little bit of a cold overnight. But he has connections. He has connections to free agents. He has connections to agents, other coaches. He's going to put a good staff around him. It is not Ron Rivera 2.0. Okay, in my thumbnail it says Ron 2.0 question mark. He is not. There's a big difference between Ron Rivera and him. One, Ron Rivera was given the keys to the castle, or keys to the entire circus, or whatever you want to call it, and said, run the whole thing. And he did, and I think his personnel decisions got in the way of his coaching decisions. So he wasn't able to be the most effective coach possible. And I think Dan Quinn's not going to have that stress. I think he's going to be able to focus on football. The GM is going to put a team around him that he can be successful with. And more or less, he's going to be in a much better spot here than he was in Atlanta. He's going to be in a much better spot here than Ron Rivera was. And like I said, at the very least, I would say this is a safe coaching hire because there's a track record. It can only be better than Ron. I can't imagine it being worse than what Ron was. Ron had a very, I'll say it, pussy-ass defense that played off and tried to play a soft defense, keep everything in front, and would just give teams first downs, give teams, and playing soft means you're playing to not give up something big, and still gave up big plays. That's what's stupid about Ron Rivera's defense and Jack Del Rio's defense. You had guys that in college that were good at playing tight and playing aggressive, and they just didn't. So, what does scare me about a defensive-minded head coach is there's things that need fixed on this team, and defensive-minded head coaches tend to have a tendency to want to just go all defense in the draft because they're defensive-minded. We need an offensive line, so I'm sure that there's going to be a conversation about it with Adam Peters. I think Adam Peters runs the show. I think that needs to be very clearly said. And if it's not that way, then why do we hire Adam Peters? That's the biggest thing with me. Is Adam Peters runs the show. He's going to build the team. It's end all be all with Adam Peters. Okay, Josh Harris is not stupid. He didn't hire Dan Quinn and be like, well, let's just throw money at Dan Quinn and see what happens. No, there was a contingency. Ben Johnson was the main candidate. Okay, and then I don't know why Mike McDonald wasn't like the second option, but maybe Seattle just gave more money. I don't know, but it is kind of a question mark in my mind why Seattle, who Dan Quinn used to coach for, did not want Dan Quinn. That does throw a question mark in my mind. Maybe there's a comment down below that might answer that question. You can let me know if you think you know that answer. But how do I grade this? Is this a big splashy, everyone's going to cheer from the rooftops and have a parade over him? No. Is this, we should burn all of our jerseys and be done with Washington kind of hire? No. We only had really one of those, and that was like Jim Zorn. So I think this is a lukewarm, like, okay, it's a meh hire, but it's going to be consistency. It's not going to be, like I said, not splashy. It's not a big young quarterback, young offensive-minded, young brain that's going to come in and like revolutionize the Commanders' offense. No, it's someone's going to come in. It's going to stabilize the team. It's going to make defense much more effective. Even if we don't hire or get a lot of guys on the defense, it's going to make what we have now better than what it was before we walked in this building. And he's proven that pretty much everywhere he's been. The turnover's going to go up. Opposition's points and yards are going to go down. That's what he does. Okay, and what I really am just curious about is offensive coordinator. So next time there's an offensive coordinator decision made, I'll probably make a video about that. And what's it going to do with quarterback? I've mentioned my opinion. We don't have to go into that. Don't be hateful about my opinion. I have my opinion. If you have yours, cool. State your opinion. Say, hey, we should draft somebody. Cool. Who do you think it is? Okay, I could get behind that. Whatever. We could trade Sam Howell. We could do whatever we have to do. So, just let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Not as long a video as I usually do, but I mean, it's the only news we have, and right now we're out of wait and see what happens next. Who's our offensive coordinator? Do we go get some free agents? I don't think we're at that point yet. Do we trade for anyone? I don't think we're going to, but also what's really nice about Dan Quinn is Micah Parsons basically said he's going to follow Dan Quinn wherever he goes. So let's save some cap space. Next year we can add Micah Parsons, and that'd be a fantastic replacement for Montez Sweat and old Chase Young, those guys. So imagine if you traded away Montez Sweat, Chase Young, you got 2 draft picks that ended up being pretty decent players, and you got Micah Parsons just because you're coaching hire. That'd be amazing. I'd like Micah Parsons. Yeah, imagine Micah Parsons right next to Jonathan Allen and Jerron Payne. And then on the other end, you have, what's that kid we drafted in the 7th round from? I can't think of his name right now. I'm not going to look it up either. I'm in the middle of filming. I'm not going to look it up. But what's his name? God, I guess it's a K. Caleb? No. I don't remember who it is. This guy we drafted in the 7th round. I can't think of his name. But I think he's got some promise. And I think playing next to those 3, I mean, he'd definitely be the weakest link on the line. But I think you can do some things. I think it opens up a lot of possibilities having him as a coach. He's not going to be passive. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to come for the quarterback. Not what Jack Del Rio did. And I think he's all of a sudden, I think you just added so much more value to a handful of players. Cameron Curl is going to be a lot more valuable. Forbes is going to be a lot more valuable because Forbes just the reason why excuse me, the reason why we signed or drafted Forbes was because we had no turnovers. And like, let's just draft a guy that's known for turnovers and didn't do anything like structurally to like put him in a position to be successful. So I don't know. I think he gets better. I think there's a lot of things across the board that's going to be better when it comes to this. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you have any questions you want me to answer, put them down there and state that you want them answered in the video, and I'll actually call your name and answer them. Don't just ask a question, just state it. State like in the next video, what is the, then put the question. Why do you like Sam Howell? If we don't do Sam Howell, what's your quarterback option? So something like that. And just state that, like, answer in video. If you want me to answer in chat, that's different. I'll just answer it. But I comment, at least to the best of my ability, to I comment on every comment. So I reply to every comment. So let me just think. That's it for this video. I want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure to check out my next video. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. It's Commander J Plank. And have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Hail to the Commanders, and see ya.